where he bought his, or Rugged something or other, Rugged Warehouse or some stuff like that.
Yeah. I just have the food. Okay. Thank you.
Oh wait. Yeah.
Oh, you should hang the freaking.
I mean, eventually when we get everything set up, but this is the room though, right?
Yeah. This is gonna be where we actually record.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some of the foam crap that you put on the walls.
Yeah.
You know, and do like over there, here, probably the corners, to keep the light though.
I think you have it kind of right. We should be sitting this side.
You think so?
Yeah, just because the way where those lights are, it lights up everything.
Yeah.
Be good.
The thing is that I don't want to block that door, but you know, it is what it is.
I mean,
can I see your phone though, so we can keep this going?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, hey everybody, welcome back to the Bear Thing Show, where we're gonna keep asking if James is racist.
Yes, I am. I don't know where you were. I just know you were in there. And then when I went I went to the thing, it just got rid of it, and I was like, oh, I guess it was just a quick link or something.
Yep, here we go. All right, so what we've done last week was that we talked about rugged individualism and family structure.
Yes.
So this week, we're gonna start with the scientific method.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
So,
science. So
yeah.
What are we gonna do?
So, okay, technically the category is called emphasis on scientific method.
Okay. I feel like that's different, but okay.
All right, so how do you feel about objective, rational, linear thinking? How do you feel about that?
Objective, rational, linear thinking.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like who the people who are like anyone who ever says that they love subjective, irrational, non-linear thinking, I'm going to tell them they should probably go to an insane asylum. Like, you like thinking in circles? Like that's what you want to do?
That's a good point.
Like, don't get me wrong, from time to time I like being really goofy with like my thought process, and then sometimes I do run in circles. But
well,
like, it's not intentional. It's sometimes I gotta figure out how to take the scattered brain thought process and go this way.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with subjectivity.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, if you have all three of those, then you're not a... Are you even human?
I think I want your seat. I don't know how I feel about this one. This is the first time I've sat in this one.
Oh, God, okay.
I like that one better, I think. This one leans back so much.
Oh, yeah, okay, I know where all this is from. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that I agree with you. Okay, so next is cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
How do you feel about cause and effect? More specifically, the relationship between the two.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's not a question. You just said 2 words. Or 3 words. Cause and effect. The relationship between cause and effect. Like, how do I feel? Like, does that actually work? Yes. Yeah, like whatever took place will whatever caused something will affect you. Right? Yeah, it's just, yes.
Wouldn't you say that lines up with linear thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so cause and effect relationship. So far we're a check mark, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know what this has to do with being racist.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Quantitative emphasis.
I don't know what that is.
I'm not 100% sure either, but if I was going to try and explain quantitative emphasis, I would say that statistics, things that you can, quantitative as in like you can observe it and see it happen and it's repeatable, so it's quantitative, and so an emphasis on this is true, that these things can be repeated. And I could be mistranslating this because I'm not 100% sure what quantitative emphasis actually means.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go based off of your lay of it. I would say yes.
Let's just go question mark.
Yeah.
Let's just do that and
without
move
having
on.
an actual understanding of what quantitative emphasis
Like
is.
I said, this gets crazier the further we go into it.
It just seems like we're going in a mad dash to nowhere because these questions don't seem to line up to any sort of thing.
Okay. So that's the end of that subject.
Yeah.
That one was only 3 questions. This one's also only 3. You and I both favorite thing to talk about, history.
Yeah. Love history.
Well, I guess favorite thing to talk about, I don't know, Star Wars.
I don't know if it's our favorite thing to talk about, but I love history.
Star Wars and Lord of the Rings are probably our favorite things to talk about.
But Lord of the Rings is history, right?
That's a good way to look at it, yeah. And so is Star Wars, right? Because it's a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly.
In a galaxy, far away.
So it's the history of someone else.
Yeah, it's a fictional history. Both are fictional history. Anyways, so the subject of history. Do you think that... Okay, yeah. Do you think that history is based on Northern European immigrants' experience in the United States? Do you think in the United States, history is based on... I'm having to reword it.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's worded as a statement, and I'm trying to figure out how to ask it as a question.
Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
So do you think that history in the United States is based on Northern European immigrants' experience?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what... Well, history is always written by the victor, so yes. Sometimes the victor will be kind enough to write down the atrocities that were taking place and stuff like that.
Occasionally, right. But yeah, I would imagine that in the United States... Well, okay, whenever I went to school and was studying history... We actually did start with like
European history,
yeah. And then we moved into American history.
Yeah, same.
Well, and then we moved into current history. I don't remember what the subject was actually called, but it was basically like not current events because it wasn't actually like what was happening that month, but it'd be like what happens in the last 50 years.
I know that
Vietnam,
my last thing of history
like
when I was in school was Obama was in my history books, and I was like,
wow.
what?
That's very current history.
Yeah, it was insane. I was blown away that I was talking about the president.
That was the actual present president.
Yeah, I was like, okay, sure. But yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
It's definitely written by the blah, 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 blah immigrants.
So we both agree that American history, or United States history, right? Because America is 3 countries.
Yeah.
And if you're talking North America's 3 countries. South America is like 4 or 5 countries, something like that.
I thought there was more.
You got Venezuela, Peru, Chile. No, Chile is in Peru. Brazil.
El Salvador.
Is that in South America?
I thought it was, but it may not be.
There's 4 or 5, maybe
history,
more.
Not world geography.
Yeah, I'm not a big geographist. So we'll say at least 4 countries. 4 countries plus. There you go. Yeah. Just like LGBTQ plus.
Yeah.
Just so we're not gonna.
Plus, I really wish the plus stood for some another thing.
Oh, that'd be funny. That'd be so great. Yeah, that'd be great. That plus is actually a gender. What do they say? Sexuality.
Yeah, a sexual thing.
Plus is a sexuality.
See, because it makes sense for it to be what is it? LGBT. I guess B is binary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dang it. I was really... Because I was like, maybe the plus is binary, but no.
No. The plus is everything we didn't include in the first 4.
That's...
Because the first 4 are important. Everything else we can shove to the back.
Yeah, you guys are a side note.
Yeah. Not very inclusive of them. Anyways. So yeah, the United States history, when speaking of the focus on the United States, right? That's where we're going with. The United States history, when focused on the United States, is based on Northern European immigration experience.
Yes.
Okay, well, do you think all of the history it talks about is based on that? I guess that let's expand it out. Yeah, is all of the United States history based upon the Northern European immigrants' experience? Like, is everything that they teach about every country from the perspective is the best way I could try and rephrase this? Because based on Northern European. So is all of our history that we teach in schools based on our perspective?
Northern European, France is up north, right? And so is Spain and all that. Yeah, so yeah. Because they had colonies over here.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are Northern Europe, aren't they? Yeah.
Irish, all of them. Yeah, no, it's totally.
All of it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you think that there's a heavy focus on the British Empire in history?
American history or just history?
I would assume we're following the first part through, but it doesn't say in the United States like it did before. So maybe it's just in history in general. So yeah, let's say history in general has a heavy focus on the British Empire.
Man, I feel like if you choose not to study any other parts of history, like I guess as a general focus of world geography or world history.
No.
Yes, because a lot of it took place in... No, maybe not even. No. Because I was going to say yes to, like, you have, like, Alexander the Great, but then you have all of these others that all swept throughout Persia.
Alexander the Great was Greece, right? Which was southern Europe.
Technically it's Macedonia.
Isn't Greece southern Europe? Greece, southern Europe? Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm not a geologist.
Maybe? I don't know. I don't know exactly where it's at because we have Russia and all that over here. So yeah, it'd have to be southern. Because there's water and generally sunny.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm pretty sure it's southern Europe.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they're talking about the empire, but it's like, well, a lot of history isn't written from the British Empire. It's written from the idea. That's why I was like, it really depends because so many people and rose up and swept through what we would consider now part of the British Empire and stuff like that.
Right.
And so, yes and no, because a lot of things were taken in the Middle East and Asia area, and a lot of history actually focuses during that time period. And until we move forward into till the rise of kings, essentially, like the actual, like, no longer having empires but kingdoms and stuff like that. That's when it starts focusing closer towards Britain and Germany and Russia and France. So all of that kind of has their own thing, but I wouldn't say most of history.
I'm going to agree with you because I think that if you were literally just studying late 1600s to it might actually be further back. I don't really know.
It's a little further back than that.
But if you were studying this time period, you know, like up to the 17 or 1800s, from, we'll say late 1500s to late 1700s, if you're studying that, there's a lot going on with Britain.
Yeah, but that's because they were a world power at that time.
Right, like, but there's more to history than that.
Yes.
At the peak.
If you took a fraction of history, then yes, we are totally studying about a fraction of recent history even.
Yeah, I would put all that pretty much in recent history. If you, at the height, from my understanding, at the height of the British Empire, they actually controlled 25% of the world.
I mean, yeah, they had,
of the known world. But then you can go back.
Colonies here. They had Canada. They had a lot in South America. They had some in Africa. They also had
Australia,
parts of China, Japan. Yeah. They probably did control about 25%.
25% at the time of the known world. Because the difference is that, like, now we know the actual, like, distances and everything, and so it's like it's technically less that they controlled, but at the time it was 25%. So using that same metric, if we just step back slightly, we get to Rome, and at the time, didn't Rome control like 80% of the known world?
I mean,
because they only knew Europe and Asia.
Asia. Yeah, they were all the way up until where the Gauls were, which the Gauls were part of Germany and Russia. And, well, the Gauls were primarily Germany and some of Russia, and then there was another sect in Russia. But anyways, they knew all of them, and they fought them for a while.
It might not have been 80. 80% might be a little bit high.
They never conquered that, but then they went over to parts of Asia,
I would say 70. Didn't they control like 70%?
I think if you looked at the map at that time, since they were in Africa, Egypt, and almost drew a line from the furthest of the Middle East, then come towards America, they owned all that.
Yeah.
And so I'd give them, as of the known world, 80% of it.
Okay, even more, yeah. And then what about Greece?
Greece's empire?
Yeah, because Greece was before Rome, right?
Yeah, but they cut a swath in there, and they probably only owned 50% of their known world.
Okay, yeah, their known world.
Yeah.
And by moving back in time, though, whenever you say an empire controlled this percentage of the known world, it's like, oh, it's really easy then, isn't it, to get a big number?
Because then you could be like, well, let's look at what they knew of the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's really easy to get a big number out of it.
Everything basically took place in Europe. America has the worst history, honestly. I've like studying history. I've always hated American history because it's one, we don't have anything interesting going on besides we did a lot of slavery and a lot of messed up things, but we fought for our freedom. Hey, cool, we did that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The United States American history is not very fun.
Yeah, and it's mainly just because we don't have thousands of years.
Exactly. We've only got a little over 200 years. We've only been at this for like 200 something years. 1776 to now. That's not very far.
Which, I mean, if you look at it in the grand scheme of how empires
we're
rise
tiny.
And fall, well, no, in how
we're
empires
done.
Rise and fall, we'll be done in another 200 years.
Less than that.
I agree, but I'm saying, like, if we're looking at the fact that some people have compared us to Rome in the grand scheme of,
But did Rome only last like 300 or 400 years?
No, Rome lasted a while.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Rome lasted a while, but, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so if you compare us to that, then maybe we might last a little bit longer than what you and I are saying.
I don't think we'll ever get a century. Wait.
Century's 100 years.
Century's 100 years. What's 1,000 years?
Millennium?
Millennium. Okay, yeah. I don't think we'll ever hit a millennium. I think before we hit 500, we're done. Way before 500.
I mean, looking at how history of the world works, more than likely, like every country every great power has risen and fallen within about 100 years of its time.
Exactly, and we're
500 years of its time frame.
500 years exactly, and we're a couple in. We're a couple hundred. We're pushing. We're almost 300. Yes. We're pushing 300.
We were looking good 10 years or 20, 30 years ago, and I say looking good, quote unquote, major quotes there.
I get what you're saying.
Now I'm like, man, we're looking like a country that is falling from within, which is what most great countries.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so that was the heavy focus on British Empire. So we're gonna both say no, right? That it really depends on what you're studying.
It's like that's a very loaded question and a very mean way of wording something, because it's like, then I guess you only studied British Empire, the person who wrote this?
I mean, yeah, we'll get there. Okay, so
I'm afraid this next one is.
So is history the primacy of Western and Judeo-Christian tradition? And by Western, we mean Greek and Roman in this case. So is history the primacy of history, the primacy of Western and Judeo-Christian tradition, Western being Greek-Roman, and then Judeo-Christian being Judeo-Christian.
Like, is the premise of history based off of the Greeks and Roman and Judeo-Christian beliefs?
Yeah.
And ideology?
Yeah.
Okay, the history that we have, yes.
Okay.
The idea of history, no. Everyone was writing their own history, like whether they carved it into stone or wrote it on freaking papaya, like. But everyone had history. Some countries like Russia did a lot of folk songs and singing about it. Like, actually, a lot of the Northern Europe area didn't really write their stuff. They sang and passed the story down the line.
Yeah, most history is actually verbal.
Yeah.
Most history was for oral tradition. Yeah, I think is what it's called.
But if they're premising it based off of the Greek and stuff like that, which when we actually started writing everything, then yeah, history is done that way, because that's the only way we know history now is by writing it.
I would think they are basing it off of that, because they literally are stating it.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
With that basis.
And I'm trying to ask it to you as a question. That's why I thought this was going to actually be hard, because every single thing is a statement.
Yes.
Of like, this is fact.
Well, then really what it comes down to is, do I agree with their facts?
Exactly. And you and I so far either agree or disagree. And so far it's been we've only disagreed, I think, on one thing.
Yeah.
Everything else, like, the only slight disagreement we had was the husband is breadwinner and head of household. But then after debate, I agreed with you, because the second half of each of those of the husband and of the wife. I liked the first half. I disagree with the second half, so I decided it would actually make more sense to agree with you than to agree with it, because it's a little too ridiculous. But other than that, we've agreed on everything except for we disagreed with the quiz. No, yeah, I think we've agreed on everything at this point, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Independence and autonomy are highly valued and rewarded. We both said no. Individuals assumed to be in control of their own environment. You get what you deserve. We both agreed that on a micro scale, not on a macro scale. So yeah, so I think we're both 1 and 1. Everything we agree or disagree with on these set statements, we're basically both completely in agreement. Okay, but that's history.
Yeah, that was dumb questions.
Yeah, all right. So now we're on...
Or dumb statements, I should say, because like the questions you were just wording them best.
I'm trying to word them as questions. Yeah, they are. Okay, so this one is Protestant work ethic.
Okay.
We're getting there. We're getting there. It gets crazier.
Protestant work ethic.
These questions are gonna get harder and harder for me to even phrase, because this seriously, the last section, right? So each of these have been like 3, 4. The last section that I have is 6. The one before that is 9. So they start getting... Oh, I just opened Evernote. Let me go back to the page. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so Protestant work ethic. We're now on section 4.
Oh, you slid sideways. That's
yeah.
What you did. I was like, how'd you open it? Everything.
So how do you think that hard work is the key to success?
I mean, yeah, you have to work hard to succeed in whatever you're trying to do. Like if you have... okay, yes and no, because there's very few people in history that were just given stuff.
Exactly.
And like they didn't work hard for it, they just were giving it to it on a silver plate. But those were like royalty and old money type of people versus their forebears who did work for that and then gave it to them later.
Right. Inheritance and all that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would say generally hard work is the key to success.
Yeah.
Some people are handed success.
Yes. Yeah.
Usually the people handed success squander it and become failures.
Yeah. Generally.
This is how it is. Because if you don't learn the value of hard work,
I mean, statistically, that's what happens. Some people still stumble their way into even further success.
Yeah.
I say stumble because I was watching one person. I wish I could remember his name.
I need to.
But like, he essentially just was given something and then bumbled his way to making more money and more power. And like, it was literally bumbling.
I guess that happens.
Like, oh God, I messed up and said this, but it worked out in my favor. It's like,
yeah, I guess that happens. Generally, I think
that's not common.
The rule is 3 generations. That if a family member makes your family wealthy, within 3 generations, you're all poor again. That's like the general thing.
Unless you can instill the rules.
Yeah, difficult to do. Especially 3, because you can instill it in your son.
Yeah, and
how well can he instill it in his son? The next question but then how well can he instill it in his son?
So that's what you need to do, though. Is if you're going to do it, you instill success. You make them successful as a family, and then instill all of the knowledge and training that you've learned into that kid, and then they can move forward. And if they're smart, they'll just multiply and triple what you basically invested into them, basically to make it to where it's almost impossible in the third generation for them to go broke.
What it kind of sounds like is you're saying is that as a grandfather, you should raise your grandkid or at least have all of your morals.
Yeah, when the kid comes over, just be like, all right,
here's all the morals you need to learn because you've got to learn how to do this right. Exactly. Because your dad's not going to do it.
Well, the thing is, if you get your their dad to do it, you can just convince the kid to keep following that footstep and eventually make an empire. That's the best way to do it, is literally train them to build an empire.
So you got to work 2-3 generations deep to break the cycle. Yes. Because generally it is 3.
Yeah, because if it's just one person, then it's like, they're going to lose all that.
Before we run out of time, let's try and finish this section. Okay. What were we on? Protestant work ethic, right? How do you feel about work before play?
Work before play. Well, yeah, I think that's a good actual rule.
Like a general rule of thumb, work before
It's a
play.
good general rule.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I have a hard time with it.
Oh, I have a terrible time with it. I'd rather be playing than working, but
Right.
I think it's a good rule.
But okay, we are talking about Protestant work ethic. Yeah, I guess work before play. But the thing is, sometimes I think play before work because it sets your mood.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? So, what's the statement of if you love something, you can make?
Oh yeah, it's not even work, right?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you love it. Yeah,
And that becomes a passion, which
It
then
just
can
is play.
turn your passion into something more, and actually start like people who are doing YouTube. Let's look at that. Not even us. I'm talking about the people who
Yeah,
are
the people
succeeding
that are
doing
actually
their,
doing
their
it,
stuff.
right.
And it's like, okay, they turned what they like doing into a passion, and now they get paid for it, and that's a step towards also success.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're not doing it, then you're not working.
No, you aren't.
So you're having to turn your play into work. And that's a
And
tough one.
It's hard to do, but that's why you gotta find something you love doing.
So you agree though with work before play?
Yes.
I'm gonna put a question mark on that one.
Okay.
Cause I'm really not sure.
Okay.
It's not that I disagree. I don't disagree. I'm
You're
just
not
I'm
sure
not
which one
sure
you- Okay.
because I think that from a like mental health perspective and stuff, that there's a balance here.
Oh yeah. If we're talking about just like
It's too complicated for me to answer.
if we're talking about like should you kill yourself? No.
No, of course not. What are you?
Like I'm talking about working. Like work yourself to death.
Oh no,
Not just
no.
not just
So I was like, what are you talking about?
No,
No.
I'm not going full left field.
Okay.
But like, cause it's something I've always said to almost all my friends. You probably even heard me say it. Don't work yourself to death because it's
No.
the stupidest thing to do.
No,
Like,
absolutely.
you should never work yourself to death. Go have fun, live
It-
your life. But like, I guess maybe that does sound like I might think play before work, but I think you should have a healthy balance of the two.
Yeah.
Work should always be first
Yes, I think this should
before
be
you
a heavy.
play.
Yeah, I think.
But
there
I
should be a
don't
balance.
think you should work yourself to the point where you never get to play.
Yeah, healthy balance. I'll agree with you on that though. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just say yeah, I agree. Okay, so this one is just purely a quote. So I'm just gonna say, how do you feel about this quote? If you don't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough.
You don't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. Nah, I don't agree with that. Because sometimes you can work super hard and not meet it because of impossible things that came up. The problem.
Too vague, right? It's too vague because
like, there's so much involved that can stop you from succeeding in something. So no, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's too. It's far too vague. If
Yeah.
you didn't meet your goals, you didn't work hard enough. That's not true. You could have worked really hard, but then something else hindered you from meeting your goals.
Exactly.
Something outside of your control hindered you from meeting your goals.
Yeah.
It's just, that's too. And there's other examples that could be given too of how that's just not right. I don't know. I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have time to do another one. Next one's religion.
Oh God.
I don't know if we
Yeah,
do. We have to
should
split
look at-
this again.
You should look at the time. We might be pushing it.
We have 5 minutes.
How many questions?
3.
Okay, let's
You think we can do
yeah,
it?
It's bullnose.
All right. All right. We're gonna do
whatever.
religion now. So is Christianity the norm?
Isn't Christianity falling off?
Are you asking me, or is that your answer to the question?
I'm asking.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's still the most popular religion in the United States of America.
yeah, but throughout the rest of the world, like I don't.
Oh no, it's not. It's been on a steady decline for years now,
Like, yeah.
even in the United States.
It's. I guess it might be the norm. It's the most knowledgeable thing. I mean, like you can't throw a stone at anyone in the United States that hasn't heard of Christianity and dealt with it. So it might be the norm.
Okay. I think, it's probably, but wait, does it mean Christianity is the norm, as in like, it's normal to be a Christian?
I mean,
Is that the same thing?
that's still the same thing.
Okay, then I don't know.
Yeah, because
is it normal to be a Christian? I know more non-Christians than Christians.
Yeah, but how many of them started off as Christians or were told to
Most
go
of
to
them,
church
yeah.
and stuff
Okay,
like that?
Okay, Christianity is the norm. You're right. Okay, anything other than Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign.
I mean, I don't think they're wrong.
You agree?
Yeah, I think they might be right on that one.
Being in America,
Christmas and all that other Easter, all of it. Like, even though technically all of those are pagan.
That's all. Yeah, I was about to say that's all pagan. What are you talking about?
The thing is, we've turned them into
Christian tradition. Yeah.
But no other country besides America really see those as that.
Right. So anything that's not Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm totally gonna have to agree with that.
I think that. Okay, well, we have a freedom of religion here. You can worship whatever you want, but yeah, since we were formed, basically Judeo-Christian was the thing that we were like, this is a religion that we're here with, but whatever religion you want's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, let's even look at Barack, where everyone was like, when he first was getting elected, everyone was like, he's a Muslim, and like people were freaking out because didn't he want to do it on the Quran?
Foreign. Yeah, it's foreign.
Well, yeah, it's foreign. And they were like, no, he shouldn't be our president. Like, that was a big argument I heard when I was younger. And I was like,
it was
crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so yeah, I'll agree with you on that one too. Then that if it's not Judeo-Christian. It's foreign.
Yeah.
Like, those are really the Judeo-Christian is pretty much the religion.
I mean, like, besides our more open-minded friends.
Yeah.
Like, how many people that, like, they'll see someone doing, like, praying at the mosque or doing other random stuff that's, like, Hispanics have a lot of weird, interesting religions.
They're Catholic, mostly.
Yeah, but they have some, or not religions, they have weird, interesting... What would you call it?
Tradition?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know about that.
People would be like...
I'm not too familiar.
Okay, so you remember... I don't want to say her name, but my neighbor.
Yeah.
So, one of my friends... Yeah. One of my friends, Z, he was like, they do some weird stuff on church. They go to, like, mass and do all this other stuff. And I was
it's all Catholic.
Yeah, I was like, Catholic. That's just part of their thing.
Catholics do some weird stuff.
They really do.
They do some weird
But because it wasn't
stuff.
Judeo-Christian...
It is.
Is Catholic Judeo-Christian?
Well,
I don't think it is.
Roman. It's technically Roman Christianity.
Yeah,
Catholicism would be like a Roman Christianity.
Judeo-Christian is a little different than Catholicism.
Yeah, it is.
But because it was, he would always be like, well, we go to church on Sundays. Like, yeah, they go on Saturdays. He's like, that's odd. And it throws them off. And it's like, that's weird.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Why was that weird?
You make a good point. And why is that weird? Because it's foreign.
Yeah.
It's foreign.
It's foreign to them. Mm-hmm. It's stupid, but it's foreign. It's like, okay.
Last one in religion. No, there is no tolerance for deviation from the single God concept.
No tolerance?
Is there no tolerance for deviation